so I think it's just a regular concert. Say goodbye to the seniors. This is about you guys for sure. I would, real quick, just if we could get the house lights up for just a moment. Could I have any of my former students stand up, please? Let's go 2020 and later. How many of you are 2020 and later? A lot. Okay. All right. How about 2016 and up? All right. How about anybody from Hillgrove? Raise your hands. Everybody from Hillgrove. All right. Hey, guess what? How about from before 2006? Anybody from North Cobb here? What's up, North Cobb? What year? 2001. John is a famous musician in Nashville. The John Latham. Swap what year? 2001. Bijan? 2001. Anybody earlier than 2001? You guys are good. Thank you very much for coming here. We're so happy to see all of you. We're going to do this and it's going to be just fine. That's what my wife kept telling me. It's going to be just fine.
So Dr. Doke gave me a script for most of this, and he doesn't know about this part of the script that was given to me by other folks. There are some people who want to say some things about you, Dr. Doke, and so I would invite first the principal at Hillgrove High School, Angela Stewart, to come.
My goodness. What a night. What a night. Guys, I just want to start off by thanking everyone that came out tonight. I know you had everyone to stand, but if you're a colleague, guest musician, just a friend that came from afar and you're not here currently in Hillgrove, thank you. Thank you for coming in tonight to celebrate this man. I do want to say that I wasn't here in the beginning to know whether or not the first principal of Hillgrove was acknowledged, but I want you to give a round of applause to Mr. Doke. Is here with us as well. When I looked around, I said, oh my goodness, there are people in the hallways, up and down, everywhere. Dr. Doke, you know that this is love. This is love on a huge level. The impact that you have made in the lives of the students and the families will never be forgotten. These people can't come back to someone that did not impress their lives. So just to see the number of people out here to represent, honor, acknowledge the love that they have for you just moves me, because that tells me we have the right guy, did we not? And the thing about it is, when I looked at this time, and I'm so glad we had a whole year to prepare for this, so we've been knowing that this was the last year, and time is just ticking on. And seniors, just like this, time is ticking on. You're going to be walking across the stage in a couple of weeks. It moves really fast, so we value our time together. We value everything that you've done for this school, this community. We value you, we appreciate you, and we acknowledge you tonight. We honor you. I was thinking about how in the world am I going to transition from Dr. Doke? I mean, he's someone you don't want to follow, right? Just a great, great man. And I think with his request, he wanted me to assure the community, because he said, are we going to make mention that we do have someone that's coming behind me? I said, well, I mean, tonight is, I know it's about the students and it's about you, so I was reluctant, but if he tells me that it helps the community to be assured, I don't mind sharing that with you. But before I do that, I will say that the amount of excellence, the tradition of excellence that you have laid, right? Guys, look how it's reflected in our students. I mean, everything that he has embedded, the way that we've traveled nationally, internationally, the levels of higher education that he's brought our students to. This is big time. I want you to give our students a round of applause. This is big time. We have no problem in terms of people being eager to come to Hillgrove, but I will tell you, if you think I got into that process without including this man, you don't know me, because I needed him. So he was a part of the process, and I needed to be able to look him in the eye and say, are my kids gonna be okay? And so I needed that. We went far, we looked, people from all over applied, and I don't just stop at an interview. I need the person to come in. I need to see if they know how to even match some of the energy that has been laid. So this candidate came in, I allowed him to conduct. I wanted to see him interact with our kids, but most of all, I wanted them to ask him questions, because one thing about my hillgrove babies, you're not coming in here and they're not sure that you know what you're doing. So they were able to ask questions and basically find out if these candidates or this candidate can meet the mark. And I tell you, he's wonderful. His name is Dr. Doke, and that is all I'm going to tell you about it. There's a whole lot of time you have to meet him. But I have secured someone to come in, and this guy had to be at the level, right, that Dr. Doke has taken this program. I didn't entertain anybody who was not, but you have brought us to a wonderful place. This school, this community will miss you. We love you so much, and we appreciate everything that you've done to put your life into the school. And one of the questions the student asked was, will you go as far, like as Dr. Doke, and put in the time to do that? Do you remember that question? And I'll tell you, I was thinking, that's the right question to ask, because he put in a lot of work. And I can remember going to Iceland, you said, Mr. what am I doing? I said, loving children. And that's what you're doing. You're loving children. So I say thank you again, and I do want to say thanks to all of the guest musicians, I want y'all to stand, like the people that have come from other schools, our musicians, Mr. Irwin, thank you guys, thank you so much, because this is a special night, and we want to make sure that our Dr. Doke knows that he is loved and appreciated, guys. So all for Team Dr. Doke, I want you to stand to your feet, and I want you to applaud this man for a wonderful time of celebration.
Thank you guys. I'm gonna keep it brief, but I met David Doke when I moved to Cobb County 16 years ago. I got an immediate friend, one of my very best friends in the world. I'm going to talk to you about opportunities, because he's had some in his life. You know, he's an artist level violinist. So he had the opportunity to play professionally in Mexico, and he took that opportunity, but you know what?
Hey, can you be quiet, please?
He had the opportunity to be a gig musician,
Hey,
which
can you be quiet?
a lot of money, right? He had an opportunity to be a gig musician. He did that for a while, but it wasn't the right thing for him. He did not have the opportunity to be a professional golfer, if you've ever seen his backswing. I have, it's not pretty. But he had an opportunity to follow one of his most famous idols, Itzhak Perlman. And Itzhak Perlman says, if you have the opportunity to teach, don't pass it up, because those who teach others teach themselves. And Dr. Doke has been an example of that. He had the opportunity to start a string program in our area. Before North Cobb was open, there was no strings up in this area. Dr. Doke had the opportunity to do it. What a scary thing it was. What did he say? He said yes. Then he had an opportunity to open Hillgrove, one of the greatest schools in our district, And that would have been a very difficult thing, starting your career at one high school and then opening a new one. And then he said yes. He had the opportunity to have his students perform at the Georgia Music Educators Association at a great high level. He's had an opportunity to have his orchestras play in Boston, in Carnegie Hall, in China, and in Iceland. And he could have said no to all those opportunities, but he decided that he would say yes to that. And he has an opportunity, at least when I've known him, to brag on how proud he is of his beautiful wife, who's a professional artist, and his 2 children. He brags about them all the time. And he also has the opportunity, believe it or not, and every time we're on the phone, to tell me how proud he is of you. And tonight, we want to tell you we're proud of you. Congratulations, a job well done.
And from a student perspective, Alex Woloshi, no, I'm sorry, I practiced, I apologize. Woloshi, no.
Really difficult to imagine what the future of the orchestra program at Hillgrove would look like. And I especially never would have thought that within a few months we'd be preparing the Dvorak New World Symphony for a performance at Carnegie Hall. This, to me, is a testament to the visions and the ambitions that Dr. Doke holds for his students and for his orchestra. Dr. Doke does certainly want the best for us, but more importantly, he wants to see us reach our best, and he wants to help us get there. His hard work and his immense drive translate to enriching and valuable memories for us, and it inspired me to pursue a lifelong future with the cello. Dr. Doke, thank you so much for introducing me to Mr. Cook and pushing me to audition for his symphony. Thank you so much for cultivating such a supportive environment within your ensembles. Thank you so much for working so incredibly hard to elevate our high school experiences, and thank you for helping me define mine.
And ladies and gentlemen, he was introduced to you a little bit earlier. John Latham is an incredible artist, and is a former student, and we share something. We graduated from the same high school, but just in different centuries. But to best describe John, you go to his bio on the shameless plug, caferoosterrecords.com, caferoosterrecords.com. Some amazing stuff there. John's been performing all his life on his grandmother's hearth when he was young, and he came to be in the church as well, performing in the church. And as many of you who've ever performed in the church, sometimes you have to learn different instruments. And so he was able to do that. So please welcome John Latham.
So, my job here is to make Dr. Doke feel very old. Which is only revenged by the fact that Ellie is here tonight, and the last time I saw her, her feet were swinging off a piano bench so she couldn't reach the ground. So, turnabout's fair play. I graduated in 2001 from North Cobb High School. I know there's some other alumni here. At the time, it was Mr. Doke, and affectionately to some of us, just Doke. Still true, wonderful. I was afraid all of a sudden, now you got a doctorate, we couldn't pull that. But that to say, between him, and also I feel kind of like a fraud, I was a band geek. I wasn't even in the orchestra, okay? But between Dr. Doke, my band directors at the time, I don't know if they're here, but Greg Williams, Andy Esserwine, those were the three pillars that cemented my already love of music, and they all drove me to continue to pursue it. He did teach me. I was in his AP Music Theory course, and it was one of the best classes I ever took in high school or any time. And in that class, it was a very small class, 7 people. But I say all that to say that the kind of band room was attached to the orchestra room, and it was like a Hatfield and McCoy's type situation. You didn't cross the threshold. Well, I did one day with my friend J.P. Holland, who you might remember. And J.P. had always said that, Dope was pretty cool. And at the time, J.P. being a self-proclaimed anti-authoritarian punk rocker, that's about the best compliment you could get as an authority figure. When I walked in there, I was first noticed how many students were amassed in this little office of his with all these arrangements stacked up high. And they were all just ribbing each other and roasting Dope and Dope roasting them. His eyes shot over to me because he obviously didn't know who I was. And he said, "Who are you and what are you doing in my office?" With the sternness of any teacher that sees us not being where they're supposed to be. And he said, "If you're going to be in my office, you have to answer 2 questions. You have to answer this question correctly." I thought it was going to be something like a crazy trivia question about Mozart, or name one other piece by Stravinsky besides the Ride of Spring, both of which I could not do. Still can't. But he looked at me and said, "Name 2 keyboardists who toured with the Grateful Dead." I didn't know it at the time. But knowing the names Ron Pigpen McKernan and Brent Midland opened up a world of what a new relationship could be between teachers in the best way. And I see the seniors that are leaving here. I see the alumni that have arrived, all your peers that are here. When it comes to music, you talk about the greats, you talk about the great works. David Doke, right here, all around you, this is your masterpiece. I reside in Nashville, Tennessee now, and Dr. Doke's wonderful wife Allison asked me if I would come play. And I said, on one condition: if you can sneak in Doke's mandolin so he can play with me. Also, we didn't plan for any amplification, so keep it down in the back. And if you can't hear it in the back, everyone at the front will just tell you it sounded great. And this is my lovely wife Audrey joining us on some harmonies as well, okay? Well, maybe. This is one that I learned from a CD that Dope gave me about the time I graduated called Reckoning. It's an acoustic record by the Grateful Dead. It goes like this. If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tears were played on the come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thought